Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to the Digitally Uploaded Podcast, the companion podcast for digitally-downloaded.net. My name is Alan and I'm not dead. I'm back from the dead. I'm a skeleton no more. I've got one in me, but it's a good skeleton. With me this week, I have Matt, who is the editor and is also slowly
Hello. What's up?
Hello.
What's up?
Yeah, it's good.
It's good.
It's a really good intro, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's good having you back, Alan. It's really good having you back.
I'm going to fall apart really soon. We also have other Matt, just to make things really, really easy to us to understand. Hello, Matt.
Hello. You, if it's easier, you can change my name to.
You're gonna become David.
Yes, I'll be David.
Okay, we've still got Matt, David, and Trent. Hello, Trent.
Yes, I have a normal name.
Yes, you don't have a name that starts with M and ends with at.
Unlike that very unusual name that is David.
Yes, it's the most unusual of names. Alrighty, so we're gonna jump to some little newsy stuff for the week because let's do it anyway. Even though it's been a relatively quiet-ish week, except for one big thing. So importantly, I think everyone just really needs to know about this, but Days Gone, the seminal action open world thing, has been delayed, and I think everyone just sort of wheezed out a consecutive just that's how I feel about that game. So that's been delayed.
Yeah, I'm so happy about this.
That's genuinely pleased. But
because the more it's delayed, the longer it'll be before I have to sit down and play it. So this makes me happy. I'm hoping it transitions to delayed indefinitely. That's kind of my hope.
I was saying this
in
the pre-show banter that they realized probably that Last of Us 2 had a trailer at E3, and they were like, "Oh no, oh dear, we need to run."
And basically every journalist that I know who has had hands-on time with it so far has said that it has potential and has potential. Yeah, exactly. has potential is like the nicest way to say, "No, this game has no hope." So
it's really positive.
A polite way of saying it has no potential whatsoever.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
All right, so Days Gone is gone. All right, Matt, what's happening with you?
Sean Bean.
Yeah.
Sean Bean back. I loved it. Sean Bean's been announced as being in Hitman 2, which is released in a couple of days now, and it's basically a big parody of Sean Bean because, as everybody knows, Sean Bean does a lot of dying in his movies, and his role in this game, is the Undying is his name, and he is going to die, as we all know. So yeah, it's Sean Bean being a parody of himself, and it's good fun, and I recommend looking at that trailer because if it didn't sell you on Hitman 2 before, and I wasn't sold on Hitman 2 before, it'll change if you're a fan of good fun.
Yeah, for sure. It's also
great.
Hitman 1 was very, very good, but no one played it initially because it was episodic for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with Hitman. It wasn't on my radar. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Sean Bean. So his involvement in this game and him being a parody of himself.
A parody?
Yes, him being a parody of himself was it was more than enough to get me interested. So yeah, I've got another game to look forward to now, which I wasn't really expecting.
Yeah, looks good. Look up the trailer, everyone. Sick. And David. Hello, David.
Actually, I've decided, since David is such an unusual name, I'm changing my name to Trent.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
I'll be Trent now.
Okay.
What's that thing went backwards?
But the exciting news, two kind of related newses about Corpse Party, which is a series of horror games that I think they were originally made with RPG Maker or something similar to that.
I think so. And it's one of the same crew with Yume Nikki and and what's the other one? Lisa the Painful.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which, and despite being made in RPG Maker, ask anyone who's played them, they are terrifying games. And the good news is that a whole bunch more of them are coming out on PC in the next wee while. Just Xseed decided, hey, here are 4 more Corpse Party games to look forward to. And on a related note to that, there's also rumors that as a result of ESRB ratings, which almost certainly means something is happening, of one of the games coming out on Switch.
Oh, neat.
Corpse Party Blood Drive.
Blood Drive, the best one, I think. I like Blood.
I think
I really like Blood Drive.
Probably the best known of them, I think, because it's been released on a lot of other consoles before now. But
yeah, they're really great. Huge fan of of Corpse Party. The writing in those games is just, A++ stuff. They don't look like much, I guess. Especially the in-game stuff, because it is, like you said, they're based on RPG Maker, or they're made on a very low budget in the case of Blood Drive. But yeah, the writing is just so spot on to be absolutely creepy and disturbing and twisted and stuff. Whoever came up with those games has a problem, but thank God for them.
His name is Mr. Party.
Thank God for that guy, because yeah, don't want to hang out with him. He probably kill you 20 different ways, but he's got a sense of creativity, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actual Trent.
Actual Trent.
We've all made this so confusing for almost no reason. All right, Trent, what's happening in the week with you?
In the week with me, well, Piano Easter. Not Piano Easter. That's a really bad way to say that.
Edit it out, Alan. In post.
The piano game, Piano Easter.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not getting better any better. It's been announced. It's coming to the Switch. Anything on the Switch is always a plus. It's got your classical music. Your Bach, your Mozart. Your Tchaikovsky, that sort of stuff. So it's all about classical, simple piano, and that's good.
Yeah. It's a cool idea. I like it. Anything that gets people more into music is always good for me, in my opinion. Especially
there's so many rhythm games on the Switch. I guess finding a bit of a point of difference is kind of hard now. The developers kind of need to do something different, and certainly focusing on classical music is a great idea. I'm a big fan of this idea.
And with that, I think we'll go to some music that probably isn't going to be classical, because Matt's going to put in some nonsense.
Miku Symphony, because then we got classical Miku Symphony. I'll find something.
And welcome back from Making Music. We're going to talk a little bit now about the recent developments within Rockstar Games. As we all probably are aware from the millions and millions of posters that are probably popping up around your city right now, Red Dead 2 is coming out, and that's pretty exciting for me particularly. However, at the expense of workers doing supposedly hundreds of hours of work a week, which is just not okay. It's not okay at all. Yeah, so if you didn't see this article, there was a interview with Dan Houser, I believe,
Yes.
who basically was having a bit of a boast that his workers were doing 100-hour weeks. And if you've ever worked at a job at all, ever, you would know that would suck ass. That would be one of the worst things ever. And this is apparently not that uncommon within the game industry as well. And there's literally no excuse for it. There's nothing. The idea that you have to go in on a weekend and work as well for like 12 to 14 hours is just insane.
Yeah,
It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, how can you do that? Why is there not a union?
yeah, the union thing. Yeah, you gotta get those horse balls right.
Look, well, they are already right. That's been solved, dude.
You got to get them right. That's a good couple of weeks of 100-hour weeks.
Well, because
right
now they're working on online now. So
Yeah.
they've got to get
The
those
thing-
balls to be shrinking in dynamic online environments.
The thing is, of course, what they're talking about really is crunch, and crunch is a thing that is a big part of the games industry for the developers, because like anything, games are kind of project-based thing. You release one every couple of years or whatever the time frame is, and at the start you don't have to do that much. Things ramp up as the game gets closer to release, and in that last couple of months before release, everything's a mad dash to try and make sure that it's as good as possible and as refined as possible and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, people find that they have to do overtime and work hard and all that kind of stuff. And the thing is, like any industry, any professional job, any job really worth doing, there are times where you have to do extra work. I mean, that's just a thing. You have a project that needs to get done, so yes, you do find yourself working late or whatever. The problem with the games industry is it happens over such long periods of time. These crunch periods go for months at times, and people don't see their families. People get very sick because they have to, it's week after week after week after week of working from 6 a.m. to 8 at night, 9 at night, midnight, crashing at the on the lounge at the office. All that kind of stuff is. These kinds of horror stories are not that uncommon in the games industry, especially in the AAA space. And I think we all kind of assumed that Rockstar had that issue as well.
I don't think there's a single company out there that's not vocal about this and is doing crunch.
Yeah, the problem with Rockstar is it seems to be part of the company culture to be proud of this, which is, that's not cool at all. You shouldn't be proud. Yeah, you shouldn't be proud that you work for 100 hours a week. That's not cool. Not only is it bad for your health, for your family, for everything, but it's also bad for the creativity of the games themselves. I mean, if you're spending 100 hours working on a game a week, what else are you actually doing to kind of develop your sense of creativity? You're not going to be out there watching movies. You're not going to be reading books. You're not going to be going to galleries or museums or whatever. You're going to be stuck in an office in front of a screen looking at code, and that's not good for any creative industry. Artists need to be engaged with art, not just working hard to kind of produce it. So, yeah, I don't see any benefits to anybody that these people are working for so many hours, especially when the end result. Yes, Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to be a good game, and I know you're looking forward to it, Alan, and stuff. But I just don't see how it can possibly be as good as it could be, creatively speaking, because the developers have been kind of shoved in front of computers for so long.
I think my biggest issue with this is that Rockstar made the most profitable entertainment thing ever. They have the money to just hire more people and work on it in like a reasonable setting.
The thing is that I'm pretty sure they're properly resourced. I'm sure their team is properly resourced for the project. The problem is if you add more people on top of that, you actually create more work for everybody with the way that games are developed, because one person's doing one thing, another person's doing another thing. At some point you have to bring them together, and if there are more people creating more things, bringing them together becomes more and more difficult. So I'm sure that it's properly resourced.
It's terribly managed.
I think probably the timeframes for creating the game have been long enough. So I just think Rockstar got so invested in absolutely petty crap that was absolutely unnecessary that the game itself just blew out of proportion. Like, you don't need horse balls in a video game.
Not that great either, according to the previews.
You just don't need that stuff. It's like there's just no reason for it. There's other than this idea that you need to be as realistic as possible, but no game needs to be that realistic. And any game that tries to be that realistic is just going to put a date stamp on itself, because it's just going to be outdone by the next thing that comes along that's more realistic. It's pointless.
I think there's another problem which is alongside, development studios and that sort of thing crunching down really hard is, gamers just want games, just screw the developers. Like, they don't care, that there's poorly managed, 100-hour days. They're like, yes, as long as in the end we get our game, who cares what they're doing?
Yes, absolutely. And that's something that really pisses me off as well, because and we all know it's going to happen, if Red Dead Redemption gets a Metacritic of like 95, if the user ratings are like 5 out of 5s from everybody, if the game sells 10 million units on its release day, everybody's just going to be like, oh, well, we just need 100-hour weeks to make that happen for us as well. It's just going to incentivize game developers, especially at that AAA space, to make their teams work even harder, and that's not cool. There should be some kind of accountability and some kind of mechanism in the games industry to point out to Rockstar that, hey, this isn't cool. And I know it's just me speaking. I'm certainly not. I mean, I wasn't the most interested person in the game beforehand, but I'm going to actually, actively not avoid playing it, supporting Rockstar for it. I'm not going to review it because I don't think that should be supported.
Well, fair enough.
I'm not saying that you can't, Alan. I'm just saying.
I don't disagree with you. That's the thing. Like, yeah, but I also just really want to play the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think consumers should have to worry about that stuff as much. But I think the critical body of the industry, the journalists and all that, there should be some mechanism for us to say this ain't cool. I don't think Rockstar deserves a 95 Metacritic for this. Without having played it, but I still don't think they do, because that would be rewarding this kind of approach to making games, which I don't think is right.
Yeah, that's absolutely fair. Like, I feel like this is a very safe topic to talk about, because the idea of there's no one out there who's gonna be like, yeah, crunch, and people who are like, yeah, crunch, are just wrong. So, like, you're just straight out wrong. And I'll fight you. I'll come to Melbourne. Do it. Do a backflip too. Yeah, so Red Dead's coming out soon. That's be good.
Yeah, Red Dead's coming out soon. You can get it from your local game shop for $99.95 or whatever it is.
And then I'm shank you and steal it.
It's on Amazon right now.
Ooh. It's apparently like $60 at JB, which is... This is not sponsored by JB, but JB, please... JB, help me.
JB is pretty cheap, but it's if you just want it delivered to your door and you have Prime, just get it on Amazon, 62, and it's done.
But yeah, buy it from Amazon so you can like compound the effect.
Yeah, compound the crunch.
Yeah.
Just add it up.
Worth mentioning, if you do buy it by retail, you can look forward to a patch which is like 80 gigabyte or something.
Yep.
Day one. So if you are going to buy Red Dead, you might want to consider the download version because you can preload it now. And
But it's also 150 gigs if you download it.
Yeah.
Yes, but at least you don't have to wait for an 80 gigabyte patch on day one. You can preload it now, I believe.
It kind of doesn't frustrate me as much as it should anymore.
Yeah.
What, 80 gigabyte patches?
Yeah, it's kind of just like, eh.
That's done in what, like half an hour?
No.
I just wonder
Oh.
if half an hour for 80 gigabyte. You've got some good internet connection there, Trick.
That's like the best internet in Australia.
I just wonder if the patch is 80 gigabytes, is like the base game really
No, the balls
just
aren't even
the
in there.
balls?
The balls aren't even in
maybe
there.
it's
They're
just
actually in.
maybe that's all that's on the disc. It's just the horse balls is on. That's it.
They just
And the
bounce
rest
up and
of
down while you watch it load.
Apparently,
Exactly.
the retail version is on 2 discs.
That's sick. That makes me think of like Final Fantasy 7 and 8.
It's like a PS4 game that they couldn't fit on 1 disc.
What a freaking Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Are
Well,
they focusing on the PS4 version? Does that mean the Xbox One is on 1 disc, or is it like...
it's gonna be on like
No,
7
it'll be
discs.
It'll be 2022 discs because Xbox discs suck. On that note, let's
Let's play the Xbox theme music. Xbox discs suck.
let's play some music from Red Dead 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
I know.
I don't like it. Yeah, I'm sure Alan will find some music
I mean, I'm
stuff.
do it.
I mean, we probably shouldn't, since I just took a stand against supporting Red Dead. But anyway, we'll do
For
it.
100 hours, surely there's like good music in the game.
Yes, there is.
No, they forgot to put the music. It's an open world game. They don't do music. All right, Red Dead 1 music. Here we go.
And just like that, with the sands of time, the soul still burns. That was terrible. That was atrocious. Like, that wasn't even worth trying. Like, I realized about halfway through that was not good. Anyway, Soulcalibur. So Soulcalibur 6 is coming out last week for you if you're listening to this. Oh my god. And the general consensus so far has been that it is a good game. Which is good, because after 5, I was not convinced they could make a good game. Yeah, Matt, you've been playing it, haven't you?
We both have. 2 Matts. All of us. All Matts on this podcast have been playing Soulcalibur a lot.
Two swords, 2 souls.
Oh, that's worse than mine.
This is going really bad places. But
you're welcome.
Yeah, the Matt still burns.
The Matt still burns. Yeah, Matt. What did you think of it? It's good.
It's good.
It's nuanced discussion.
It's a good game. It sure is a video game.
Yeah. How cool is Geralt? Because that's literally the reason that I want to buy this game.
He's actually good.
I have paid 0 attention to Geralt so far.
But I call him Gerald.
They call him Gerald?
Yeah, he's Gerald.
I mean, he kind of is.
But he's good. He's actually quite... Yeah, I'm impressed how well he fits into it. I mean, they've always done a pretty good job of fitting weird characters into the game.
I mean, Yoda.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yoda maybe not. But Link was pretty good.
I remember Ezio being pretty cool in 5.
Yeah. And
yeah. 5? I don't...
5 existed.
But yeah, Gerald.
I thought they just got their numbering confused.
Yeah, Gerald fits in the group pretty well. Also, his stage is pretty neat. It does fit in.
It's Caerleon, which the fact that I know this just because I watched like 7 different videos of the same thing over and over again.
It actually doesn't feel out of place. Like
fantastic.
You can tell that it's an inclusion, kind of a bit of fun that they've thrown in there. But at the same time, it doesn't feel like it's weird. It doesn't feel like it doesn't belong there. It's not like if they were to put Gerald in, say, Dead or Alive 6, that would be weird. That would be really weird.
But his breasts are so good.
They put like Darth Vader or Yoda in. That would be weird.
Yeah,
that was free.
Who was it? Was it in 3?
I don't think 3 had any guest characters.
I thought it was 3, or was it 4?
No, that was 4.
4 had the Star Wars ones.
Yeah.
But it's.
What about Spawn in the Xbox version of 2?
Hey, Spawn was pretty good. I like that.
He was shit.
No, he was try. I like that. I liked his inclusion. I liked all of them because I also liked Heihachi from in the Sony one.
I loved that Heihachi's weapon was his fist.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's all he did.
But Dead or Alive, but Soulcalibur 6, it's really, really impressive. It looks great, really, really good. Even better than I kind of remember from the previous sessions and whatever. The character models are incredible. I can't believe this game doesn't have a photo mode. That's so weird.
It'll come. If it's anything like that, it'll come.
It better, because it's just it's just mind-boggling that this game has great characters and great visuals and all that kind of stuff, and it's actually impossible to really enjoy any of that. There's no replay. You can't save.
There's no replay at all.
Yeah, there's no replay.
Well, there's for online. For
online, okay.
Online battles, but not.
Oh yeah, but I don't bother with that crap. I want to save replays of my matches,
okay.
So I can watch them with camera angles and stuff, and take photos and stuff, just like you could with Dead or Alive 5, and that's old tech now. So there's no reason that they couldn't have put that stuff in there. That annoys me actually. But yeah, the characters are good. I like Sung Mina. I was surprised by that. I thought I'd go in and just focus on Talon from the start, but I don't know what they've done with the balancing or whatever. I just find Sung Mina a better character for me this time around.
Is my boy Killick good?
Yeah, he's okay.
He's always good.
Yeah, he's fantastic. I like.
But he's like a dude and stuff. So.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Well, that's Soulcalibur, everyone. It's just a dude and stuff.
It's I think probably the best Soulcalibur game since 2, which
okay, understandable.
Is I think still the high point of the series.
Yeah.
overall, but this is the best one since
so
then.
someone like me, which has never played any After 2, it would be a good starting point. Or no?
Well, that's me, Trent.
Yes.
I haven't played any After 2, really. I might have played a little bit of some of the others vaguely, but yeah, the last one I played with any commitment was 2, and yeah, I stepped right into this one. I had a great time. It is very accessible. Even if you're not into fighting games, you can. This is a good one for your first fighting game.
How's the tutorial system?
Good. Yeah.
Good. Is it like Tekken-y?
It's built into the story mode, actually.
Oh, sick! That's really, really cool. Good
so
on
create
doing
your
that.
Yeah, create your character, go into the story mode. There's a full thing that walks you through how to play the game and all that kind of stuff. So I think, yeah.
There's also a separate tutorial mode somewhere else if you don't want to do that. It's one thing I like about it is in the training mode, there are very detailed, not really tutorials, but almost like beginner's guides to each character.
Yeah.
And so you can go and read like some fairly brief but still detailed, even though they're short. And it's not like pages and pages of strategy guide. It's like,
so it's not just Final Fantasy 13 again.
No,
Good.
it's a couple of paragraphs that give you an idea of how to use that character effectively.
Cool.
As well as a very detailed explanation of the different systems and the kind of universal way that the game works and how to actually play it and be good at it without just.
But even if you don't want to play with that stuff, just jumping in and bashing buttons away, you create cool stuff straight away, basically.
It's a very visually flashy game.
It is.
All the stuff that I've seen.
And that makes you feel good. Like, it's so easy. Like, you can even pull off a special with just a single button press. And that just kind of works as an encouragement to keep playing, because you don't feel like you're struggling to do interesting stuff. And I think that's a good thing for the game, for new players, even because who kind of gets the game and who gets into a fighting game, especially if you're playing with a friend. Like, you got somebody over, they've not played too many fighting games before. You say, "Hey, let's try one of these."
Yeah, and then you body them, and it's not fun.
You're not going. They're not going to sit through the tutorial, are they? You're there to kind of play the versus mode. So the fact that they can play this one and create pretty interesting attacks and stuff straight away without having to bother with that tutorial is really good, and certainly helps it get ahead of, especially Tekken. I find Tekken is quite difficult to introduce.
Tekken is incomprehensible to jump into.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's
whereas this one
loves Tekken. Like, it's just not for humans.
Exactly.
Where you have to learn the Konami code just so you can like go left or something. Like, just give me like simple pluses. This one punches, this one kicks. This one makes him twirl around, and this one here, makes him do like some sort of weird final smash.
I know you're thinking of Yoshimitsu because you're talking about the twirl around and how it's the worst thing in any game ever.
Hey, Yoshimitsu's a pretty funny character.
I hate that character. It's dumb. It's so dumb.
He's pretty funny. I like him.
Of course we cannot agree on anything.
I like Voldo too. Voldo's pretty.
I think everyone likes Voldo. It's the new. Everybody loves Raymond. Everybody loves Voldo. It's like Spider Skitters in Deborah.
I want to see that sitcom now.
I'm making it.
I just really want to see Everybody Loves Voldo.
Yeah.
But that's the other thing. I lost it now. That's the other great thing about Soulcalibur. The characters are so good, and immediately you can kind of pick ones that you like.
Yes.
Because again, it makes it very accessible. You don't have to spend an hour going through playing with every single character to figure out which one you even want to use. Straight away from that menu, it's like, oh yeah, this character design is mine. I like the weapon. I'm going to use this character, and bam, you kind of got your favorite one. So it's just tuned around ability.
It got by modern standards, a relatively small roster.
I feel like that's better,
about 20 characters.
Yeah, I feel less overwhelmed by that.
Yes,
that's exactly right. Yeah,
I love about it. It's not like Dragon Ball, whatever, where it's like, here are 600 Gokus, like pick one.
They're not all Goku.
Why is there
I'm gonna
something
fight you on this as well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fight everyone on this podcast. You have to say something that I disagree with now, so I can fight you.
But yeah, so it's relatively small, which I think is good, but well chosen. They're all great characters. And
The balancing between them is really good too.
yeah.
There's no character that feels overwhelmingly strong. There's some matchups which are not, great for one character or another because of the way the weapon system works, reach versus speed and all that. But nobody is going to go in feeling like their character is, useless and that they need to pick one character if they want to have any hope of kind of winning a match or whatever.
There is no Dan Hibiki.
Except Astaroth. Anyone who picks Astaroth deserves to lose.
Oh, no, Astaroth players are essentially the scum of the earth. Like, there's no question. It's like, just play a real character like Nightmare. Just do it. Like, just...
Yeah, exactly. If you want the big dude,
valuable
reach,
member of
there.
the cast.
And if for some reason you don't like any of the actual characters, there is a very extensive character creator, which is usual for Soulcalibur anyway. But I think a new thing is you start by choosing a race, and you have, let me count them,
10, 12? Might be 12.
16 different
16, yeah.
different race options, including Mummy.
You're just a parent?
Yeah. No,
the bandages.
I know.
There's a skeleton race. There's a lizard man race.
Can we all become the skeleton race?
Like there's angels and demons. There's
from the Dan Brown book.
Yes, exactly those. Although they're both referred to as Lost Soul, but there's winged and horned versions.
Yeah.
That creator's pretty cool. I like that as well. And you can customize, of course, all your characters as well.
Yeah. You can put stickers on your character.
Oh, great! I'm 4 years old again.
Yes.
I don't understand the point of that, but that's all right.
It's just to help customize the look of them. You can
by like slapping some bumper stickers on their face.
Yep.
Yes,
exactly.
Which is exactly what I've just done as we're speaking. And my new character is a mummy who has a number 5 stuck to her face.
It's reasonable.
So yeah,
she's mummy number 5. Yes. Lou Bega. Okay, I'm really going to try and work on a parody of Mummy number 5. It's Spooktober, my dudes. All right, we're going to go to some music, I think.
Yes, just one other thing, just quickly before we go to music. The other great thing about, I think, this one is that it hits all the right kind of notes between fan servicey stuff and not fan servicey stuff. So I think just about everybody can enjoy this one, regardless of what they're playing for. So, yeah. Dead or Alive 6 has got a big challenge ahead of it, actually, I think. As much as I'm looking forward to that.
Yep. So we're playing some Soulcalibur music.
We are.
The soul still burns.
Gerald's music from Soulcalibur 6.
It's Campbell.
And we're back, and even better, we've actually found a topic to talk about that's going to keep Alan quiet.
I can just go.
Sorry, Alan. We're going to talk about visual novels a little bit for this last section of the podcast, because visual novels are good and stuff, and there's some interesting things happening with some visual novels at the moment that I think is worth highlighting. Mostly, I want to talk about The Midnight Sanctuary, which is a game that came out on Switch, about a month ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, thereabouts. And yeah, it is really, really, really different. It's actually it's a story about a Christian community in Japan, made by Japanese developers, and it's vaguely horror-ish, I guess. But yeah, it's just a very different angle, I guess, looking at because everybody knows that the Japanese religions are Buddhism and Shinto, and there isn't a huge community out there for Christianity or Islam or whatever. But there are communities, and Christianity's had a long tradition in Japan, and it's actually a very different take on Christianity, because for the longest time it was quite persecuted, so people had to worship in secret, and they developed traditions and all kinds of things that are different to the rest of the world. And it's just interesting to have a game that is actually looking at that topic, because yeah, it's just something that you don't see very often. And the game has this really weird surrealistic art style, which is quite gorgeous, and Alan would hate it because there's absolutely no interactivity other than reading.
What's the point?
But it's really good. It tells a really compelling story. It tells a really, well, if it was a book, I would read it, but it tells a really compelling story. And yeah, I really, really
I'm
like
really
it.
angry just then. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but books are boring. There's no visual stimulus. It's like the whole point
The
of
brain
visual
is a
novel.
stimulus.
No, we're old and boring, and we can't imagine things anymore. We need visual stimuli.
Did you just say books are boring, Trent? Because that's going to be very upsetting to me.
I'm not saying they're boring. I'm just saying it's harder to paint a picture than it used to be back in the day.
No, I've got no problem with it. I know people have that debate about whether visual novels should be a thing. I don't care. I just, if it's good, I'll play it. Doesn't matter, what the contents are like. But yeah, I think that this one is well worth looking into. I know you've downloaded it. Why haven't you played it yet, Matt?
Because I have to play other games.
Well, that's not good enough.
I have to play silly nonsense like Soulcalibur.
Just don't understand you people.
Bad games like that. But I was thinking that one thing that would have helped a lot in terms of both being a good game and also the workload is if Red Dead Redemption 2 was a visual novel.
That would be hilarious.
I
play
that.
But the thing is, I mean, people have this idea that a visual novel is just, walls and walls of text. But they are approached differently because they use animation as well. This one, The Midnight Sanctuary, actually uses animation and all that kind of stuff. It's not static like some other visual novels are. So the number of words is relatively limited, I guess. But yeah, it used its visual style and various animation and all that kind of stuff to help emphasize the story. I mean, we were talking about Corpse Party earlier, and Corpse Party are basically visual novels.
Like, we could even say The World Ends With You as a visual novel, because it's pretty much dialogue. Like, no one really plays it for the RPG side.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, Alan hates the visual novel, but he likes Persona. And Persona are basically visual novels. For
They're not. They have
game.
in them though.
Well, that's the story bit of Persona is very much a visual novel, Alan.
I know, but it's actually good because there's other things that work with it. So I'm not just sitting there reading like a book on a screen. I could be reading a book in my hands. I don't know why I'm so angry about this. This sucks.
So what you're saying, Alan, is you're cool with visual novels as long as there's other stuff in them.
Yeah, as long as it's not just, we've got to have to read for 20 minutes and then that's all we've got. It's like you rock up to a candy shop and all they've got are those like Woolies like thin wafer biscuits that just taste like dust. It's like cool.
Like wafer biscuits.
No, I don't. I don't
Alan,
I bet you don't even like what's the other one I really like? The one with the chocolate on the bottom.
Yeah. Also, I'm really happy I can derail this podcast like that. That took almost no effort. Yeah, no, visual novels suck. End of the podcast.
Alan.
A visual novel about eating wafer biscuits would be.
What about a visual novel, Alan, where it's like half an hour of dialogue or whatever?
Oh, it's a Final
and
Fantasy
then-
13.
And then one kind of tactics RPG level or something.
Yeah, that'd be
It was-
sick. That's also Final Fantasy Tactics. Like, I'm okay with that. Like, it's a good game.
Well, Final Fantasy Tactics is a shorter version. Imagine like the dialogue being like.
Oh,
10
I'd hate
times as
that.
much.
I would hate that so much. I would be very angry.
Oh, so I won't recommend Utawara Ramono to you then.
I honestly can't even spell that game, so I can't even go to the shop and try and buy it. So just stand there, like, looking at the box up, being like, how can I do this?
I can't think of a game that is less Alan than that game.
Utawara Ramono. But
The
it's
fact that
good.
you're saying it with such casual, like, strong, like, pronunciation there angers me.
If
Like,
I walked into
right,
an EB and tried to ask for it, I'd be like Alan and be like,
Utawara.
or something, and then the guy would like look at me, and then he'd be like,
No,
"I have
he'd
no idea."
immediately know.
He'd immediately know.
He knows. He's aware.
I only worked out how to pronounce it because I wrote like a long review where I used the word like a dozen times.
I feel like
Also, it's a Japanese word, so you could just ask your wife.
Yes, that too. She helps me. She helps me with
Empowers
pronouncing
collaborative
weird
learning.
things like Utawara Ramono. That's yeah.
I like to imagine that you're just sitting down, like looking at the box art and just repeating it over and over again, Matt.
I actually did that. Because I remember when the game first came out. I don't think you were on the podcast. We actually did a podcast where we talked about that game. So I actually, I forced myself to learn how to say
The
it.
lengths at which Matt will go to.
I know what I go through for our listeners of the podcast. But yeah, visual novels are good. Matt, have you played any kind of interesting visual novels recently?
I feel like I should say yes, but I haven't actually. Nothing that comes to mind.
It's been a bit quiet for the good old VN.
Yeah.
I mean, with Steam opening up its gates to adult contents, we'll probably see a whole flood of those land on Steam.
Oh,
Yeah.
Discord. Now Discord's going to be a gaming shop.
What?
Really?
Yeah, your Discord's going to be
Discord,
selling your
yeah.
games.
Oh, that's neat.
And we all know all fans of those kind of adult visual novels are on Discord. So,
Yeah,
probably
there's a lot of
a whole
horny
bunch of those
anime
over there.
discords.
including the
You laugh, but there are. Yeah.
But those are good. Those are good. You should like them, Alan, because a
I'm
lot
not
of them
going-
have like
I'm
a
not
lot of
going
them have like strategies bits in them too, or gameplay bits.
Yeah, and the gameplay bits are probably like 30,000 years apart from each other.
No, there was this one called Ayusinki, which was pretty good.
Okay, so Matt, you've just lost me.
Yeah, you'd like it, Alan, because it has lots of gameplay bits in it, and the distance between the visual novel bits aren't so far.
Fair enough. Okay. I'm still not going to play it.
You should.
This is how
Alright,
the podcast
what
ends.
about a visual novel which then turns into a puzzle game? Like
Oh,
a
Layton.
jigsaw puzzle game.
So it's Professor Layton.
Yeah.
I'm very okay with that. I actually bought Professor Layton on my iPad.
Well,
It came out just
I
then.
mean, Ace Attorney is basically that.
Yeah, and that game has fun
No,
gameplay.
I
It's
don't
this
mean
geeky
puzzles, but
game.
like jigsaw puzzles, like boring old people, like 1,000-piece jigsaws after like
Trent.
10...
First you have a go at books. Now you have a go at jigsaw puzzles. What is wrong with you?
It's a very aggressive podcast today.
Jigsaw puzzles are great.
No.
Even that Nintendo Switch one, Japanese
No,
women.
don't even talk about that. For those of you who don't know what this game is, I found a game on the Nintendo Switch that was essentially just, let's make a jigsaw, anime girls.
It's not anime girls. It's
Anime
actually
girls
Japanese.
with photos.
Oh, it's actually called Japanese Women? Okay, I just saw the title and was like immediately eyes glazed over, like, nah.
No, it's photos of Japanese women in kimonos and whatever.
No, it's dumb. It's real weird.
It's dumb,
like
but it's
nice
because
pictures, like they're at Mount Fuji or something. I'd play a game like that.
there is one.
Those games.
There is. It's called a puzzle.
No, there,
You can go to
there
your
is
local
one.
shop and buy one.
There's a couple of jigsaw puzzle games on the Switch now, but the problem is they're all maximum 320 jigsaw pieces, that's so casual.
Not enough
hardcore
content.
enough.
Not enough
Yeah.
content. All right.
Not hardcore enough. At least it needs at least 1,000 jigsaw pieces. Otherwise, it's not worth doing.
God damn.
There was a shop I saw a while ago that was selling a jigsaw puzzle that was 22,000 something pieces.
Yeah, see, that's good. That's what all jigsaw puzzles should be. Anything less, it's just not worth doing. On that note,
And with that, we're going to cut it there. It's over.
we're going to go to some music and stuff to finish things off. But yes, point being, the Midnight Sanctuary, I wanted to shill for that game in the podcast I have.
tell.
So I'm happy now.
It's very obvious.
Actually it's well worth doing. And Alan, actually, you should play it. I'll tell you what, I'll play Sexy Brutale if you play Midnight
The
Sanctuary.
issue I have with this is that I know you will like Sexy Brutale, and I know that I will not like this game.
Why?
I don't know.
It's not what you think. It is not what you think. It's
Despite
actually
you.
genuinely good game, like genuinely good storytelling, and it's not anime. I promise you, it's not anime.
If I find an anime in there, I will burn down everything that you
It
own.
is not anime. It's actually published by Sony, the Unties.
They're not known for anime at all. They've never
are you talking
published
about?
anime. They've published so many anime games.
What, Sony Unties?
Yeah.
Unties?
Haven't they?
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
No.
Okay,
They've done
well,
like
I'm
2
wrong.
games, haven't they?
Oh, well, probably not then.
Well,
They did that shmup that Matt
the
played.
Toho, the Toho. I don't think you can say that Toho is not anime.
Oh, that's true. That is true. I'll give you that.
All right. Well, Matt's gonna choose the music for this because I don't know what the hell it's called.
I'm going to pick something from, I don't know, Earth Defense Force.
Yeah.
Just to think, because, oh yes, I did want to quickly mention on the podcast, for some reason,
Jesus.
the D3 publisher dropped an Earth Defense Force game on us all without actually telling anybody, literally.
That does sound like an Earth Defense Force thing to do, though.
This one's different because this is like a shmup. This is
Oh.
a shooter rather than a third-person perspective shooter. This is like a really, really strange shmup, and it's really good, really,
Okay.
really good. But
Well,
yeah,
well known
but
for releasing that.
they just didn't bother telling anyone. You can get it on PlayStation 4 and I don't know, it's probably Xbox, but whatever. So Earth Defense Force music.
Let's go.
I think it's just PS4 and PC, but you know.
Okay, yeah. Grab it. It's really good.
Any alien attack from vicious giant insects who have once again come back. We'll unleash all our forces, we won't cut them any slack. The EDF deploys. Our soldiers are prepared for any alien threats. The Navy launches ships, the Air Force sends their jets, and nothing can withstand our fixed bayonets. The EDF deploys. Our forces have now dwindled and we pull back to regroup. The enemy has multiplied and formed a massive group. We'd better beat these bugs before we're all turned to soup. The EDF deploys to take down giant insects who came from outer space. We now head underground for their path we must retrace and find their giant nest and crush the Queen's carapace. The EDF deploys. The Air Force and the Navy were destroyed or cast about. Scouts, Rangers, winged divers have almost been wiped out. Despite all this, the infantry will stubbornly hold out. The EDF deploys. Our friends were all killed yesterday, as were our families. Today we may not make it facing these atrocities. We'll never drop our banner despite our casualties. The EDF deploys. 2 days ago my brother died, next day my lover fell. Today most everyone was killed, on that we must not dwell. But we will never leave the field, we'll never say farewell. The EDF deploys.
Stop that depressing crap! Then how about this song? A legendary hero soon will lead us to glory. 8 years ago he sunk the mothership.
Says history. Tomorrow we will follow this brave soul to victory. The